The second day of the siege on the village of Joeva, in the valley of the Riverlands, dawned beneath an ashen sky, the air thick with the stench of fire and death. The Miraleth army, commanded by the ruthless Mayor General Tim, stood poised beyond the crumbling walls, their allies from Enveus and his personal guard Polar tightening the encirclement around the Dünir Dwarves trapped within Daragal Estates. The first day of sieges had been a brutal display of cruelty, as the Joeva villagers were caught off guard, and relentless assaults had left Joeva's defences cracked but unbroken. Yet, the Dünir held, their fists bloodied, their shields dented, but their spirits unyielding. They knew that this was only the beginning. 11 more days loomed over them like a shadow of inevitable doom. Despite their grim situation, the Dünir dwarf defenders fought with a stubborn resilience that defied their dwindling numbers. From the Daragal Estates' fortified manor and the surrounding stonework, dwarven bowmen rained bolts down on the enemy, while fighters barricaded the narrow streets, forcing the invaders into deadly choke points. Rook, the chosen commander for that day, stood at the heart of the battle, his longbow felling Miraleth soldiers with every arrow release. His voice boomed over the chaos, rallying his warriors. "They may outnumber us, but they do not outfight us. Hold fast." Each passing hour saw another push from the enemy, but each time the Dünir sent them reeling back, the cobblestones painted red with blood. But Mayor General Tim was no fool. He knew brute force alone would not break the Dünir so soon. From his war camp beyond the walls, he devised a new tactic. As the sun reached its peak, his siege engines shifted their focus, no longer hurling stones at the walls, but instead launching fire and poison into the town itself. The rooftops of Joeva ignited into blazing infernos, and the thick, choking smoke seeped into every crevice of Daragal Estates. The Dünir and remaining Joeva citizens, still standing and willing to fight, forced to abandon some of their defensive positions, coughed and struggled as the enemy pressed in under the cover of their own destruction. Enveus and Polar forces surged forward, their wicked blades flashing through the smoke, seeking to carve their way to the heart of the Dünir defences. The battle raged on through the afternoon, with neither side yielding an inch without great cost. The estates became a slaughterhouse, streets turned into death traps, buildings collapsed under bombardment, and the bodies of fallen warriors from both sides littered the ground. The outnumbered Dünir dwarves knew they could not hold forever, but he also knew that to give ground too soon would doom them all. "Reinforce the inner courtyard," they roared as warriors pulled back in tight formation. They would not break today, but the enemy's grip was closing like a vice. With their food stores already dwindling and water supplies tainted by the enemy's foul tricks, the Dünir had no illusions about the coming days. As dusk fell, the battlefield quieted, but the silence was deceptive. Mayor General Tim stood atop a ridge overlooking the burning town, his golden armour catching the last rays of the sun. The Dünir had survived another day, but it was exactly as he planned. They would fight, they would bleed, they would struggle, until, piece by piece, they were ground to dust. Turning to his commanders, he issued his next orders. "Tomorrow we tighten the noose," he said, his voice as cold as the night wind. The Dünir had proven their mettle, but the siege was far from over. 11 days remained and the tyrant was patient.